Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today I want to talk about glitchy sound effects, and we're gonna use the Beats mode in Ableton Live together with some drum loops and some synthesized sound to create nice glitchy sound effects which you can use in fills and other parts of maybe a drop or even a break if you want to. So let's just get into it. Alright, I have set up a simple project with two tracks here. As you can see, we have an audio track which we're going to use first, and then we have a track with an instance of Serum, and I'll show you later how you can use synthesis to achieve this effect. But we'll start off with the audio effect, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over a simple drum loop. I'm going to choose something here. Let's go to some drum loops here. Let's say we'll take a hip hop full loop. You want something with the least amount of reverb possible. We can use this one even though it's very slow. I think we can get some cool sounds out of this. So as you can see, it already stretched it, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stretch it again, and I'm just going to hold shift, and when the warp is on you can see this little arrow appears, and that means that you can stretch it inside the timeline. What you can do is you can just stretch it very close, turn it into a very small loop, and this way you can get something like that, which is not very interesting. But if we consolidate this, you can see now the Beats mode has worked, and you can see we have these waveforms with some kicks and some very short snappy sounds. And what we can do now is we can turn the transposure up by a lot. And what this will do is it will kind of turn those clicks and kicks we have before, those very short drums we had before, it will turn them into tones because of the way the Beats mode work. So you can see we end up with this really nice glitchy loop. And you can then go ahead and tune it to the key you need, and you can chop it up and rearrange it, whatever. But let's say you want to use something else, like a noise or whatever, or you just don't want to use a drum sample. And what you can do is you can go into Serum here, and we can turn on the oscillator and basically do the same thing, but with some noise. We can make a very simple pattern. Let me quickly make something cool. Let's say something like this, and we'll add a bandpass to that to give it a bit more of a tone. Something like that will work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again make a very long loop out of this. And what we can do is we can have some variation in there by, for example, adding a comb filter, which really works well because it gives the output a very different tone. And then over, for example, let's say 16 bars, we can have slight variations, not anything too crazy. Let's say we want something like that, and we'll just add that to the cutoff. Let's render this for now, and we'll see what we'll end up with. So as you can see, we have this very short, this loop again with very few drum hits, which is kind of what you want for this technique to work well. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna turn it down very far, and you will hear that you end up with something very aggressive. And can do the same thing where we just turn it up. And you can hear that the slight variations between each waveform really gets carried through using this technique. And if you render it again, you can see we end up with the same 16 beat or almost 16 bar or 1/16th kind of rhythm here. As you can see, some are a bit longer, some are a bit shorter. You can then go in and you can warp all of them to the exact position if you want to, just by doing this. This one will go there, and this seems to be double the length, so we'll bring that down, bring this down as well. We'll very quickly turn this into a nice glitchy sound here. Something like this. You end up with something like that. And I'm consolidating it again just to get a nice waveform. And now once you have a few of them, what you can do is you can just cut them out a bit like this and kind of combine them and add different parts of both of them together. So I'm just kind of randomly cutting them out and getting rid of any of them which I don't want. Let's say we don't want this one, and here we don't want that one. And kind of mix and match a bit, kind of drag them around a little bit. Maybe we want this over here, and then combine these two elements back together here, and we'll remove this and kind of get this nice fill here. And you do have to kind of match the volumes of them at this point, so you will get something like this. And then you can just group them together and take another track, put them to the group, and record this. And you have a nice glitchy sound effect here. Now, of course, you can get further with this. You can, for example, chop them up even more and add fades to them. For example, something like this might work, where you take a few of these elements and you just add some fades to the start of them. Maybe even some that are a bit faster. Let's say we want to do something like this. You can just drag those over and kind of get a more chopped up effect. So this will turn into something like this. And of course you can also, as I said, use the transpose here to kind of get a nice difference in the key. Let's say we turn this back up to 5 or something. And once we consolidate this again, you can just save this or use it in as a fill or whatever. And you have a nice glitchy sound effect, which is really easy to make. And just using the beats mode and different starting materials, which have this plucky character, either a drum loop or what I just showed before, a synthesized noise sound with a comb filter, works really well. So yeah, that's kind of how I do glitchy sound effects for fills. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you have any ideas for any future videos, let me know. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.